Greetings duelists and welcome to another video. So this past weekend there were two events that I took with my deck. They were both under the new TCG Forbidden Limited List format, and I kind of want to share like my results as well as a few changes that I did with the deck and a few like thoughts overall just regarding the format as a whole and things to look forward to. Um, but yeah, I'm not gonna waste any of your time. I'm just going to go straight with the deck, and then I'll talk about like the matchups as I faced so far, and like some critical things that you should take into account when playing this deck, like in general, and pretty much how can you adapt for this current format, like with this current strategy. Um, but yeah, um, I'm still playing Scareclaw Cash Adventure, so the one Starfrost, the 6 Scareclaw names. I still think this is correct. Um, like there were games where I kind of wanted to see like a good amount of them, but outside of that, like I feel like this was still a good ratio. Um, the 3 Reichart. I kind of was seeing this card a lot more than usual, which is kind of weird considering it's like 50 cards. Like I kept seeing multiple things, which is not the worst. Like especially if you open Rite of Armasier. Yes, I'm still playing the Bankruptcy package, so you can still just like normal one, special another one, and then like activate its effect. Um, so and or you can just summon one, link one away, and then summon a second one, and like if you have more monsters in defense you can just still plus out of it. Drawing multiples was still not the worst because of another tech card that I'm playing in this build now. But yeah, um, still the same skirt color ratios as usual. Kashtiras, 3 Fenriers, unicorns now at 2, so 2 unicorns, Rice Heart, and Scareclaw. I've been seeing some people play like the Scareclaw deck, like seeing them around dueling books, seeing them around like other duels, other people. Some people I've been seeing them playing 2 or even 3 copies of this, and I don't get it. Like honestly, I don't. Like you don't want to open multiple of these. Like you have so many ways to search this. It's not even funny. Um, like yes, it kind of is. It is a linchpin between both archetypes, but like it's not really that hard to get to this. Um, I just feel like having a monster that kind of requires you to banish cards to summon it is just gonna break you even more than not. Um, but yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I still think this ratio is correct. I don't think you need to change anything involving like the Scareclaw and the Kashtira ratios. Um, Adventure, I'm still playing the 3 Enchantress. I'm still playing the 1 Griffin Rider. And a new addition to the deck that I tried it testing since yesterday, and I was playing it like onwards, and I've been liking it. I've been liking it a lot. Um, like forget the glare for some reason. I just can't make it so it cannot glare. Um, but yeah, the last edition, at least involving the adventure engine, and I don't regret this choice, is Illegal Knight. Um, I really like a Lego Night in this new current format that we're in. Um, like Sprite and like Sprite is really popular right now, especially since it didn't get really hard hit in the list. Branded is another really popular deck, and this card is really good against both of them. Like just having a disruption for multiple cards is really strong. Um, this card is kind of awkward against Kashtira because it is level 7, so um, they could end up doing stuff with it. However, just giving them a monster that bounces multiple of their guys and just gives them a monster on their board, so they have to worry about like not being able to like special their guys back, is still really good. Um, you can pair this up with kaijus as well. You can pair this with like other stuff. You can use Draco back, bounce this back, and then next turn just summon it again. Um, like if you are in a position where you cannot access your Scareclaw engine and you cannot go to your extra deck, this is another engine you can fall into that can just stop your opponent, at least like while you recoup advantage or get to your cards more. So yeah, I don't regret this choice. I think if you're testing this, like this variant, at least with Adventure Engine, you should give this a good consideration. Um, so the last two monsters are Kurikara and one last minute chewing. This was a really hard choice for me. I spent easily like hours thinking whether I should incorporate this into my main deck or not. But I did, and I only opened it once, but the one time I did open it, it was really strong. And that card is Dino Wrestler Pankatrops. Um, so the reason for Pankatrops is that it it does not really conflict with your Kashtira monsters if you go second. If you go second, you can just special Fenrir. If your opponent still has more monsters than you can special this, and this is just another disruption. This is level 7, so in the off chance you have Kashtira Birth, you can normal summon this. This is also another interruption that is not from your extra deck. So, like, if your opponent still locks you out, you can still work on this. There's another card I'm playing in my main deck that kinda helps either tutor this card or tutor into other things with this card, and I pretty much gave it away by saying that. But yeah, another good reason to play this is that in a new format where you don't know what you're facing against, this card is just really strong if you don't win the die roll, or if your opponent is playing floodgates, or you're just playing like an unorthodox strategy that kind of needs help like dealing with their board. So yeah, those are the two miscellaneous ones. Um, that's it for monsters. For spell cards, I'm still playing 3 Rayphobias. I'm still playing 3 Arrival. Like, as long as you're playing Scareclaw, like at least this variant, I don't think it's incorrect to play lesser copies, but at least multiple max copies of these do come up, at least on my end. It's also really good because this is not redundant. Like, you can open multiple of these and it won't conflict with you at all. Open multiple of these can be awkward, but if your opponent activates like really hard negates on you, like Sullen Judgment or like Boral Savage or stuff like that, having another copy of this is still very solid, because that means you can still activate it if you get like hard negated on one. still 3 pressured planet, still the 1 theosis and the 1 birth. It's a little bit more awkward now since we have 2 unicorns instead of 3, but I feel like this is still a correct ratio. I still think like if they're playing this as an engine, I think these numbers are not incorrect. I did see myself citing out Theosis and Riceheart a lot, but I still kept Unicorn and I still kept this because this is still really really good for extending, and it's really really good with Scareclaw Kashtira. It's good with other things. Yeah. Triple right. Fateful Adventure. Jacoback. Yeah, not much to say about this. As long as this engine is legal, there's no reason not to play it, at least in a deck like this one. Two talents, two thrust, 2 talents, and the 1 card I swapped for the 3rd talents at the moment is Small World. So as I was testing this deck and I kept facing like a lot of different matchups, I just felt like there were certain key cards that pretty much dignified the game if I resolved them. I'm talking about cards like Dino Wrestler Pancratops, Kurikara, like Water Enchantress if I banish it. Like even though you have like 6 copies of Fenrir, just having a way into and getting into Fenrir is nice. This card is really good alongside Fenrir because what you can end up doing is just grab a redundant Kashtira monster or a Kashtira monster that doesn't really contribute to the end board that you want to do and swap it for something else. Like it's not really hard to swap between cards with this deck. Like I'll give you an example. You can Fenrir into any Scareclaw monster because they only share on being Earth monsters, and then you can turn that into Enchantress. You can also Fenrir into Pancratops, and then Pancratops into a Scareclaw name, or you can do it backwards. You can Fenrir into a Scareclaw and Scareclaw into Pancratops. You can also do that. You can also one interesting thing you can do is you can grab Unicorn, and Unicorn shares 2100 defense with either Riceheart or like Reichheart, and you can turn that into, and you can turn at least Reichheart, you can turn it into Kurikara. You can turn that into Enchantress as well. You can turn that Reichheart into like Illegal Knight, for example, because they share on being darks. You can turn it into Visa Starfrost because they share on being warriors. Like there's a plethora of options that you can make that kind of like pretty much makes Small World very very justified. And like I kid you not, like I've won so many games just because of Kurikara alone. So just knowing that I have multiple copies of Kurikara in my deck without needing to play actual copies of Kurikara is kind of helpful. Like we're not talking about just Kurikara, we're talking about Kurikara plus Small World plus Thrust, because Thrust can get you to Small World, which can get you to Kurikara. Like it's just a lot of flexibility for going second or going first with your deck that really like doesn't really hinder you that much. So like, yeah, I don't know if I'll still keep this. Like, I didn't see it enough, and I don't want to play multiple copies of Small World because um, we are not playing a lot of like um, engine searchers outside of like their own main decks. I mean their own engines. So I don't want to contribute into breaking with just playing multiple of these. Like sometimes it's very sus because like sometimes I see like multiple trust in hand or multiple talents. Like realistically, it should not happen as often or at all, but it does really happen. And just knowing that you have hard once per turn cards that your opponent like are not reluctant into like playing against or like trying to hard negate or stuff like I just don't feel it's correct. But I really did like Small World. I think like it's a very solid inclusion. You don't have to play this, but at least for my play style, I did enjoy it. Um, but yeah, like um, let's see what else. The last few cards, I guess the last three spell cards are two droplets and Called by the Grave. So the reasoning behind playing these now, like a lot of people are afraid of playing like droplets because they still are prone into thinking we're in a Rice Heart format. Um, but two things to take note is one, a Rice Heart really you don't really struggle against a Rice Heart with this deck. Um, you have so many ways to beat it already with your engine. Like the adventure cards already deal with a Rice Heart, for example. Just to name a few things. So, just not playing a card that's really good in your deck because of one matchup does not warrant you not playing it at all. That being said, this was pretty much a meta call. I thought Sprite and Branded were going to be very popular during the weekend, and I was correct. There was a lot of Sprite players. I ended up losing to two of them. Um, and one of my losses against Sprite was because I misplayed with this card, and that part was on me. But if I did not make that misplay, I would have won the match, and not only would have won, I would have won 2-0. But yeah, like if you're on the fence of whether to play this card, at least I'd recommend at least to side it, because I feel in a format like the one that we're at right now, outside of a Rice Heart, this card is really strong. Like, and as the format develops, it's just going to get even stronger. Like people will catch on to like other strategies that are not just the Rice Heart path, and this card really strong against others, like other strategies. Call by is just a really solid card, like stopping hand traps. Something really important with this card, like in testing, I was struggling against Branded because of the Gimmick Puppet lock, and these three cards prevent that. Like this is a non-targeting negate for the Albion, and this is just a card to get rid of the puppet in general. In the off chance they try to recover the puppet after you banish it with this, it's still negated, so you're not locked. At least they cannot lock you that turn. or the following turn rather. And the last card is Twin Saw. Still 50 cards. Like, I don't think you should go to above 50 with this deck. Extra deck. Triple Lightheart. You still play 3. 2 Treyheart. Asa, Dark, Unicorn, Access Code, Goddess. This came up today. I faced against Addict Nesters, and like there was a game where he made a rival and deck lockdown, and I got rid of the deck lockdown because I opened Cosmic and I managed to get into Goddess, and I just got rid of the rival, and that won me the game. Baron, Angel, Big Eye, Rise Heart, and Astra. So my schedule for this weekend. So I kind of did a meta call on this. I guess I'll show the side deck and I'll explain. 3 Ash, 3 Droll, 3 DD Crow, 3 Triple Cosmic, Feather Duster, and 2 copies of Evenly Matched. So explanations. I tried my best to prepare for branded because there were a lot of branded players this past weekend when I was playing. Like, I already knew branded was going to be a very, very popular deck, and these cards are just really good against them. The reason for DD Crow specifically and not something like Ghost Bell is because there's one specific interaction against branded when they have branded lost and branded in red. Like, if they flip branded in red and they have branded lost, you cannot Ghost Spell that, which means that you're just going to fall victim into Albion summon, and Albion summoning Gimmick Puppet, and you cannot respond to it anymore, and you're just gonna get blown out. But if you have DD Crow, you don't have to worry about branded lost, which means you can just end up banishing their monster, and yeah. And DD Crow specifically, and not Bestials, because they conflict with Kashtiras, and you don't want it to conflict with your Kashtira monsters. That's pretty much it. This did came up not just against branded, but against like the Life Twin Sprite deck, and that deck is also very, very popular. At least the runic variant, and this card is also really good against that. Against Punk, like my opponent trying to do the Deer Note effect to bring back from the grave. This was also helpful against that. I faced a Melfi Sprite opponent that played Ibly, and I had this for the Ibly. He had Sprite Red, which ended up negating it. However, I did have Forbidden Droplets, so I still had a way to get rid of Ibly anyway without having to worry about more disruptions. Originally, I was not gonna play Droll, but I faced Vanadium and I faced against Dinosaurs this past week, and I just felt like even though combo heavy strategies are not very popular in the format, this card is still warranted on your side just for some awkward combo decks. I don't know if you guys saw, but Dragon Link won the French Nationals this weekend, and it also made multiple tops. So um, just having a card that's kind of like a skip for their turn is kind of really good and ideal. Um, so as for these, I just wanted to respect back row. Like I feel like every games 2 and 3 signing cards like these are very important against mid-range strategies, because the way they're going to win the game is if they floodgate you. And if your engine is just as strong as the one of a mid-range deck, then what you should be worried about is not their monster interruptions, it's their back row. And I just felt like this was very strong against that. This is also doubling down against like other strategies, like for example Labyrinth and Eldritch, and like back row decks in general. But yeah, I don't regret this choice. I think Cosmic is really important right now, especially because of Runic. If you go first against Dragon Link, this is not really bad against them, because you can banish like their boot sectors or their dragon ravines or their branded regains, their branded beasts. Like against Kashtira, you can banish their pressured planets, you can banish their Kashtira births. So also really good. But yeah, like I played at 2 locals, one on Thursday and one today. The one today was a PS5 tourney. It was 6 rounds of Swiss. I finished X2, and sadly my tiebreakers were very low. Both my losses today was to the same deck. It was to Melfi Sprite. One of them played the Adventure Engine and the other one played Runics. Against the Runic version, I pretty much lost because I misplayed with Forbidden Droplet, like I brought up before. The Adventure one, he just drew the nuts. Like, game 2 he opened like double Imperm Ash, right Talent starter, and I couldn't do anything against that. On Thursday, I finished X1. It was 5 rounds of Swiss, and my only loss was against Kashtira. And one of the games that he won was because he did the Raid Raptor combo, and everything in the combo did not bother me at all. What bothered me was that halfway through me trying to break his board, he flipped Summon Limit, and that's when I figured out that I kind of have to side this if I'm going second against Kashtira, no matter what their board is. But yeah, overall, very solid events. Like this format is starting to shape up very interestingly. I think like the meta call that I did was not incorrect. I think me preparing for the matchups were not incorrect either. However, some key plays are important, and sometimes just some people have their day, or some people don't have their day. But yeah, this is pretty much it. There's not much I have to say. Like, I feel like this new format is very interesting. We still have a few of the old decks, like, I mean, Kashtira is still running rampant, but it's not as powerful as before. I think Sprite is another really popular deck you should look out for. Like, also keep an eye for rogue decks. I think you're probably gonna see rogue decks a lot more now than you ever did before. Like, just look at Dragon Link. That was considered a rogue deck before, and now it just won Nats. And not only did it win French Nationals, it topped multiple. It had multiple tops. Um, Not only that, but it also won a regionals. And well, I don't know if it won a regionals, but it topped. It the last regionals for this weekend had multiple Dragon Link tops. So, um, just goes to show you that this format is still kind of open. There's a lot to look out for, and just preparing yourself will make it sure that you should be fine whatever deck you're playing, whether it be this deck or with whatever strategy you want to pick up on. But that's it for me. Keep practicing and keep doing.